Hi and welcome back to Programming with R and Matlab. My name is Jan and I'm Finance Teaching Assistant at Stockholm Business School. Today we continue our basics course and we're going to speak about if statement. So we're going to speak about, first we're going to introduce what is if statement, then we are going to apply this if statement of moving average strategy. So what is if statement? Well, first of all it's one of the most widespread methods which is used in the coding and programming. It allows you to impose any restrictions you want and compare different variables. And it looks pretty simple. If then here you put some restriction, then you require some action. If this restriction doesn't hold, else you do another action. But else can be omitted. But the if and then are usually one of, or this is a structure. Else is additional if you want to do something if your restriction does not hold. So let's take a look at this example. It's pretty much just a system, and before applying and before thinking it in the way of code, let's take a look at the line and imagine this is the line of all the numbers which exist, and we will identify y is equal 5. So let's apply now this if then else statement. So let's first think, if y equal 5, then x is equal 10. So it's pretty much straightforward. We're not inventing anything new. We're just trying to say it in the way that fits our if then else method, but just to replicate the system. Then else, what else? It means like else in this sense means for y which is not equal 5. So it can be more than 5 or less than 5. So then we would like to say if y is more than 5, then x is equal to 0. Else, so now let's think over. We have crossed out the option where y is equal 5. We have crossed out the option where y is more than 5. So the only thing which is left is y less than 5. So pretty much we even do not need to write this conditional if. We can just write x equal y plus 2, because this is only one thing which is left. Now let's take a, and yeah, also I forgot to tell that there is other statements and or. So they mean if, for example, y equal 5 and y equal for example, if y is less than 5 and more than 5, pretty much is the same as y equal 5, then x will equal 10. It's usually used when you have multiple restrictions you want to impose. For example, let's say you have one more variable z, and then you would like to say, okay, if y is more than 5 or z is more than 5, then you have one scenario. If z is equal 5 and y is less than 5, then another. The same with or. So let's take a look at our moving strategy, but first a small recap. So moving average is the average of the closing prices for the last 50 days in our example, and it is, well, the example of moving average is the red line in our graph. Then if the current price crosses over the moving average from down to up, then it is a buy signal. If it goes from up to down, then it's a selling signal. And no short selling, so that we can only buy and we cannot sell if we do not have the stock in our inventory or in our portfolio. So let's think a little bit from perspective of the code. So how would we identify these buying signals? Well, pretty much we want to buy a stock when the price of the stock is higher or equal to its 50-day moving average. And if you take a look at the graph, I have identified the time when we actually have to hold this stock in our portfolio. So, and then we see that the prices they tend to be higher than our moving average. So then it means that we do not want to have the stock which price is less than than the moving average. And as I said, 50-day moving average is going to be used as MA50 is going to be used as a shortcut to the 50-day moving average in our notation. So again, you have to think over from in the perspective of the line of all possible prices, and then you try to identify the value of the 50-day moving average somewhere on this line. And then if the price is less than your moving average, so it is also on this line is going to be to the left from the moving average, then you don't want to hold this stock because it is a sell signal. But if the price is more or equal to the moving average, then you would like to buy the stock. And let's try to think over how we can do it with our if then else. So if our price is more than equal 50 MA50, then we would like to include the stock to the list. Else or otherwise, we don't want to have this stock at all. And then we're going at the end have a list which we will pass to the Sharpe ratio filtering at the next step. But pay attention that this algorithm is only applicable for one stock, and we have to apply it for all the stocks on the Stockholm Stock Exchange, or the one we're going to use in our program. About this we're going to speak a little bit further in this basics course. So today what we did, we identified what is if statement and how it can be applicable to identify the buy signals of the stock. Thank you for your attention. Please press here to play next video. Take care. Have a nice day. Hej då.